Good morning everyone. I'm just going to do a little quick reveal of all my sorting and how I've done my tubs. I've broken up everything into little bits and pieces so as I can just grab a tub and use it. Inside the cupboard I've started to also organise tubs. There's all my signatures for junk journals and some material, washi tape and interfacing, and that's on the right side of the cupboard. On the left side of the cupboard up the top I've got things that I don't use as much, such as the coffee dyeing tray, and then I've got 2 rows of tubs basically, and my glues are to the left there, and that cupboard's got a few little bits and pieces in too. But I've labelled everything so I know I can just pull them out and get them ready to go. Right, so in my organisation I've made a tub that is for where I'm up to. It's just got only that in, and that's the tub I need to be working on. So I really am behind, really. But when I get in the mood and I get onto it, I'll probably get it all done really, really quickly. So I haven't gotten any further with that. Wow, that's really embarrassing. Okay. So, what I have been thinking about, just scribbling underneath things. Now I've talked about my tag before and how it's a very simple on the front, just simple. It says winter because that's what I'm doing. It's got all of the sewn bits that are on top sewn onto this backing, and then that backing's glued to the back. And I've said I don't really like this now. It was funny at the time, but it's not now. I've got this bit of indigo dyed that I thought I would make a pocket out of, not necessarily on here. So I've already preempted that bit. Actually, what about if it goes up this way? That's nice, isn't it? Right, so that's preempted. So that can be like that. Just not sure where it's going yet. Okay, so I showed you this that I'd made last week, and this was going to be my September background. So Woodland is the theme, and I did a class with Lisa Matic and making woodland quilts, but now I'm going to attempt to make a woodland scene with all shades of blue, or white to blue. And I've been thinking, I was thinking about puff balls. You know those puff balls? Puff balls in the forest, toadstools. So I was thinking, when I was watching Rachel doing those, the snowman, I was thinking, oh, that's a great idea, and it inspired me to think about puff balls, you know, puff balls in the forest. And this is a bit out of an old pillowcase, because I'll make some mushrooms. Woodland, it could have anything in it. I feel a little bit like, as I'm getting a little bit behind, I don't want to rush it. I don't want to rush my village. I don't want to rush this, because I'd like to have them fairly concise. So I was thinking about how we make Suffolk puffs. Let me just go around the edge really quickly. Very loose, loosey-goosey. This is probably going to require really large mushrooms. If this Suffolk puff, forest puff is too big. Let's see how it goes. Hope the wind is not too loud, but yesterday was an absolutely stunning day, gorgeous day. I think it was about 17 or 18 or 20 at the top, which is beautiful for spring. And then in the night, I woke up at 4:30, I think. 4:30, got up and did some work because I'm still doing things like, as I'm tidying and cleaning, I've been getting some of the old books and taking the pages out, and I've actually been pre-folding them ready for signatures. This is when I'm doing paperwork. And see, look at that. So I did a bit of that and then I went back to bed. But when I went back to bed, I had the window open because it was a bit stuffy upstairs, and this beautiful rain was falling and it was so lovely. I just thought, that was really nice. I'm just going to lie here and enjoy that rain. And I did, and I went back to sleep till about 8:30. Always, when that happens, I always feel a little bit like, oh, if I'd have been able to stay up, I would have got more done. But I wake up a little bit groggy when I do that, so it's not always a good idea. Right, so I've made like a little puff. So I'm thinking I might have a range of little puffs down here. Like so. Let's see if I can go through the back, get it down. So this is my little first go at the idea of a puff. I do believe people eat those little puff balls. Probably in some parts of the world they are edible. I have never had one, I don't think. But when I've watched anyone on YouTube who's a forager, when they're eating them, they look very meaty. You could, if you were a vegan, you would slice them really thin and make little tiny steaks or something. Anyway, Woodland puffballs. I mean, you could go all out with Woodland, honestly. I'm not going to. All right, so this is the start of a little puff ball and the start of the idea of a couple of puff balls. And you know what I've done today? I have just turned my phone off, and I just am going to have to dedicate Thursdays to making a couple of videos a week, I think. Just every day there's something on. And thank God all the doctor's testings and stuffs have finished, because some of those one was 2.5 hours, all the tests. And it's just every day. And then I come back and I'm exhausted. So I'm just thinking, bugger it. Thursdays I have to put the phone on silent, because it's spring, a lot of friends are saying, hey, what are you doing? Want to catch up? And then they're talking to me, and I don't know how to do it anymore. What's this friendship thing? Oh, isn't that cute? Oh, I love it. So I'm going to make a few more of them. In the end, it's not too... no, I tell a lie. Friends are good. I've got one friend, and she's been a little bit acerbic lately, actually, but we caught up. We decided that we like to try a new cafe that we've not tried before, and she's moved into a new area, and so I said, we should just... Is there any new cafes that you've seen around but you haven't been to yet? So we went and tried out a new cafe. Really cute little cafe. Run by... Not sure. I think he might have been Turkish or Lebanese. But I actually had a Reuben. I thought, oh, that's nice. He's got a toasted Reuben on the menu. And I thought, every so often I like to have a little taste of New York. Remember, a little memory lane moment. And so he had a Reuben on his thing. So I had a chai. Now, does anyone else know that you can have a dirty chai or a chai? And a dirty chai means it's got coffee in it. And a chai is just normal chai. So I had a chai. It came in a beautiful little cast iron teapot. Oh, I've got a photo. I will actually insert it right here. So the chai was delicious, and the Reuben came and it had the proper, the layers of, is it pastrami meat? Some like pickled cabbage, a bit of mustard, and oh gee, it was good. My friend, who was in a bit of a mood, said she'd probably get it the next time she went there. But she has a coffee. She loves a coffee. I don't really have coffee because if I know I can be quiet, a quiet person, but if I have coffee, I've probably said this before, if I have coffee late in the day and it's a strong coffee, I'm awake for 2 days. That's how it affects me. So I'm not really into the coffee too much. So I try not to. I'll have a decaf if it's earlier in the day. Even a decaf can affect me, even though there's supposed to be no caffeine in it. Anyway, so I have a chai. But she said, as a coffee drinker, oh God, I'm waffling again. As a coffee drinker, she said that it was a very, very good coffee, even though she was upset that she got a latte, not a cappuccino, which is what she always asks for. And I didn't notice. I actually think she said latte, but I don't remember. So she might have said cappuccino. Anyway, she decided not to complain and just to taste it, and it was so good she kept the latte. So isn't it funny? We became a latte. So in Melbourne, cappuccinos were, of course, all the rage at the start of the frothy milk machines. And now it's like lattes are all the rage. If you're in Melbourne, it's a latte culture. And I like a latte. I much prefer a latte to a cappuccino. Right, so I'm going to just secure that. Anyway, what am I waffling about? The Reuben was really fabulous. And it reminded me of New York, which interestingly enough, Huss is talking about us going there next June. And I was like, well, actually, yes, that's on my list. Nice of you to suggest it when I suggested it first. But that's good, isn't it? Just put the idea in there. He's talking about going to New York and then to Thailand. He's wanted to go to Thailand for a while. Oh my goodness, I've just segued again, totally different. Oh my goodness. Someone give the girl some meds, for goodness sakes. All right, so here's my little puffball, my second puffball. I had a thought, you know how sometimes puffballs have little dints, and I just thought, the little invisible stitch, I wondered how they might look with a little bit like a quilting kind of effect. Oh yeah, I like that. Just little dimples. Oh yeah, okay. I'll probably do one more here. And then what else am I thinking? I'm thinking of mushrooms. What if I do a mushroom in the same kind of like applique with the stuffing kind of way? Do some more on this one. So I will come back and do my other one on film. I just thought it was good to get started on this, so I really didn't feel like I was getting really way behind. This is like an old mattress. Cute. Right, so I just did another puffball off camera, and I found this bit of old bandage, and I was thinking, should I put a tree trunk or not, but I think I'm just going to focus on it because of course there'll still be another prompt for September, so I might just focus on them being sort of mushroom stalks, and I think I'll just do 2 mushrooms. Now, just thinking what thread to use for these stalks. Now, could use a bit of this because it's got lots of foresty colours in it. I do like that. I think I will actually. This is the alpaca. Got from Sydney. So now that I'm a bit more organised, hopefully, if I say this is the alpaca, I'll actually have a note somewhere in my organisation that says where it's from. I have said it in a previous video. That's the thing. I don't remember. It's like it was a year ago I bought it on special via the Fruity Knitting web. Right, so I've mentioned this before. I haven't watched their last 2 videos, but Fruity Knitting had it on theirs last year sometime. Yes, Fruity Knitting does some very good YouTube videos. And every so often they'll put a special on for whoever they're having an interview with. They might put a special on, 10% off or something. So that day the alpaca was 10% off with the company in Sydney, and it's easier if it's in Australia because you don't have all that extra postage. So I'm just doing now Cantha stitch. For the life of me, I couldn't work out what that word was. Was it camphor, like mothballs? Anyway, I did some research and I am going to write it on the screen. Cantha. And it starts with a K. And Sarah and Rachel are often talking about it, and I was just like, isn't it running stitch? But the traditional history of Cantha stitch is an Indian form of stitching where they do the straight stitch, but they're bringing bits and pieces together of old bits and pieces. So it is similar to, is it Boro, the Japanese style of bringing together lots of old bits of family materials from clothing and stuff like that. So there you are, fun fact for the day, which you probably all already knew, but there you go. All right, so I'm going to Cantha stitch this down, or running stitch. I like learning new things. That's why I started to think maybe I'll go back to uni next year and do a one class at a time, but just do the art history or something. Keep my brain active. So that's what I'm going to do for these. So I can do the rest of that off camera, but now I'm thinking, what am I doing for the tops of the mushrooms? Right, I've got my little bag of, I'm running low. I've got an order in with Melanie. So I will hopefully get them very soon. Haven't managed to pop out there yet. think I'm going to make it an order because both of us, between the two of us, we just have so many things that happen that mean it's about, melon is about half an hour up. So purveyors of, oh my goodness, my brain, what is it with my brain? Anyway, Sarah talks about it, so you can get it off there. Anyway, Melanie does lots of little antique bits and pieces, but maybe about a 20 or, no, maybe a 40-minute drive for me. So I got my little bits of lace. I love those little mushrooms that have the lace underneath. Now, is this going to be mushrooming enough? That's the question. I wonder if this would work. Like it like that. Cut this in a little bit. Cut this one in a bit too. There, we get the whole antique. Oh, how gorgeous. This whole antique Suffolk puff is gorgeous, isn't it? It's reminding me of that day I spent out at Louisa's, out at the ridge, all the way out, but just doing that beautiful workshop with Lisa where we walked around and we looked at the mushrooms and we made our mushroom panels. Gorgeous. Really lovely day that was. So this is my idea, thanks to Lisa, for my little woodland thing. Still keeping it in sort of the blues, but I've just added a little bit of that antique-y. So this is this bit here. This is from an antique big tablecloth, but with these circles, and this is just gorgeous.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
So, does anyone do that? All of a sudden you say something and Siri thinks you're talking. It happens to me when I'm on the stove cooking. The sizzle sometimes. The sizzle will set Siri off. Sizzle, Siri the sizzle. So I'm still using this alpaca. I really love it. It's very foresty because it goes from blues to greens, yellows, and it's very soft and very delicate in its colouring. And I'm just gathering little bits around the edge as I go. Yes, so, all right, so a moment of gratitude. Let's have that today. I'm really grateful for Lisa, Rachel and Sarah, who've taught me probably the most about embroidery over a longer period. Or, well, Lisa from the workshop, but definitely Rachel and Sarah for all the input, and Juju. What else am I grateful for? Sometimes I feel like all I do is have a whinge. I'm grateful for the fact that it's nearly spring here. Oh, it is spring, but we've got the spring winds today, but yes, today was just reminding me gorgeous weather to come. So I've got a good start on my September one now, I think. I've got to put those down and think about a couple of other things. and get back to finishing my other little August. Messed up because I wanted to do a really big page with August. That's okay. In the end, it'll all look lovely. Don't need that. Okay. All right, let's make that this week's video, and I will come back with other things, because now that my room is, well, look, I didn't show the second half of the room, but this side of the room is all very organised and cleaned, and I'm very happy about that, because I was starting to not be able to think straight. So, stop waffling, Christina. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and everyone, hope you have a wonderful, fabulous day and a wonderful, fabulous week. I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.